Good morning and welcome to a very empty hall. As you guys know, we've been really busy with the renovations, and today was the day where all the wooden shutters finally went back on the windows, which means we finally have an empty hallway, because this whole hallway was used as a bit of a work site. You can see that there is still like this kind of special plastic covering the floor in order to save the Carrara marble that's underneath. But at least now we have an empty hallway, which feels so nice, because it means that when you come down from the stairs, you're not straight away greeted by a work site. The work sites now have gone more into the rooms. I will show you one thing, just so you get a little bit of an idea of what it was like out here. So that is the office, which is the next room that's being worked on. Over here is the dining room. But this is where we are storing currently a lot of the tools, renovation things. It's all happening in here, but a lot of this stuff, along with all the wooden shutters, was all out here before. So you can imagine how happy I am that this whole space has now finally cleared out. This is the other hall. Little update. There is more coming on this, but I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a preview. For me, it's a good day. The fact that we can tidy up a little bit and start to button up some areas always makes me feel really good. But today, I do have a fun kind of outing for us. We're going to be spending a day together. I've got some plans on different things. So we're heading to the horses, and I'm going to give you guys an update on Valero. I can't believe I've owned him now for, I think, 6 or 7 weeks. I feel like time has truly just flown with him, but his training is going really well, and he's lost a bunch of weight. I think he looks really good. Anyway, we'll get to the update when we go to the stables. But before that, I want to show you a couple of things here at home, because there has been some progress outside. So we can head out there now, actually. This is the kind of property that if you venture outside, you have to put gumboots on. So let me do that first. We have our army of gumboots always at the ready, just sitting down here. I want you to bear with me for just 60 seconds, because I've just opened up a brand new website for my horse Emporio, and that is because I'm finally offering him for breeding, starting from this breeding season to forever. But in order for me to be able to promote him and to house everything, I had to create a new website, and that is where Squarespace has come in so handy again. This whole new website, mhbreeding.com, was created so easily on Squarespace. They offer hundreds of already made templates, so I was able to just run through, have a look, and quickly identify which ones I wanted to go with. There was already recommendations in terms of layouts. I could quickly assemble everything, and in only a matter of a couple of days work, we were fully operational and ready to go. There's a shop backend. People can place an order in order to have the service stud fee, and everything has ran so smoothly as always. This has given me so much more confidence, again, having created what is now like my 4th or 5th website through Squarespace, that this truly is the best platform. So whether you're thinking of opening up a new website, or if you have a current website and you're not really liking the setup, I highly, highly recommend converting to Squarespace. You will not regret it. Now, for any of you that are interested, you can use my link, which is www.squarespace.com/MattHarnacke, and in doing so, you'll receive 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Thank you, Squarespace, so much for the ongoing support, and now back to the video. As I was saying, gumboots and breeches are never the right look. Alrighty. Now, you guys might remember that we were struggling for quite a while here with a huge mud issue, and I feel like that has now, well, actually, that has been resolved. It was our first big project of the place. We've been working, I told you guys already in my previous video, with a local contractor here who's been doing a fantastic job for us with a variety of little projects here and there. But the next project that we had to handle was the parking and the entrance of the home, because we kept having so many delivery trucks, people that work for us, all getting stuck. Showed you guys actually a little video of this before, of just what it looked like. So now I am excited to show you and reveal what the new parking area looks like. Here we are. So up to the tree, we brought in some extra. This is kind of like a mixture, a ground mixture. It's self-compacting, so it gets really hard. But we ended up creating this whole parking area here. Now, I always am the kind of person that prefers thinking of keeping everything as green as possible. So I want to find a way where we can keep this kind of hardness to the ground, but have grass growing through it still. So maybe there's like these concrete pavers with little holes in them where grass can still grow through. So maybe we do something like that. But for now, we have a really good workable area here in order to park all the cars. It's just my cars here today because Yes is away at a show in Belgium. But also if we want to park like the horse track, Yes's car, we have another small, I'll show you. We have another small little car. It's just a car we keep because it's so handy to have when you have guests or people that work for us. We have this little Twingo car here. She's very efficient and somehow everyone wants to buy her from us, but she's staying. So we have that car, these two, Jesse has one, and we have the truck. So this actually gives us a really good space to house everything and then still keep this area free for when people come to the house to work, or in the future people can pull in like the farrier, stuff like that. So this will be a great access point. So I've been super happy with this area, but the absolute piece de resistance is the main entrance. So we received a permit to widen and change the entrance. Now there was already a whole concrete slab here which connected to this asphalt. Well, I guess it wasn't concrete, it was asphalt, but there was a whole network of roads that was connected here. And what we decided to do is we've opened the whole entranceway up. Now this is just a road base that is down here, so we will have to come in with either a brick or a self-compacting gravel or something like that. That choice hasn't been made, but we now have a really big entrance that is compacted and hard and doesn't get muddy. It actually rained all of yesterday, so you can see just how it looks. And then you guys might remember, or otherwise I'll show you, there used to be a little gate here. Now this kind of gate, we now have moved to here. And you might not know this, but this is a very typical gate of Dutch estates. It's very traditional. So we wanted to, at least for now, keep it. And the idea will be, as this property progresses, there will be a gate here for the property and the main house. So when you, let me back up a little so you guys can see. So this is the approach to our house. So there will be a gate here, which separates kind of like the living area from the horse area. So one gate will be here, and then we will have another gate here. That's why I said to Yes, I said, why don't we already move this temporary gate to here and live with it? That way we can already start to imagine the space and how it's going to be. So we've moved the gate there. And that way there is a really large area accessible for deliveries or for trucks. We've actually measured out 25 meters here. So if a large truck comes with a trailer to pick up poo, deliver hay or anything like that, they can sit off the road, but not entering the property yet. Because with horses and animals and dogs and everything, we don't want either people to have direct access to the property or the animals to just be able to run out. So up until here, there already was a road running all the way down the property. It was 4 meters wide. And so we've now, we've top surfaced it a little bit, but it wasn't as necessary on this side. And then we've added these couple of meters on this side, not all the way down, just to those trees there. But it means we have a really large workable area in order to also service the barn once the renovations start in there and machinery has to come and more people have to be here. Now for me, my brain always goes to, okay, how do we make this area pretty? Because I always want the approach to a property to be really nice, welcoming, to be green. So this is my plan for what at least we're going to be doing right now. Obviously, we're very much in the beginning stages of putting our mark and stamp on this place, and the property is going to have to be practical before it becomes beautiful, because there is going to be so many big vehicles coming in and out. Imagine also everything. This is going to be the access point for all the fencing to come through from when the guys come to build the outdoor arena. All that kind of stuff has to come through here. So I don't want to get too much planting done because I don't want all of that getting ruined. But what we are going to be doing is starting a hedge. Now I love this hedge here. It's a beech hedge. And we're going to be continuing that. So we've ordered 35 meters of hedging, and it's going to block off this side and block off this side here. And then it's going to follow this contour, which has a slight bend. and around the tree to there. So all of this bit will be hedged to here, and all of that will be hedged to there. So it also just blocks off the property a little bit and lets people know, okay, this is your waiting area before entering. I think it will also give a little bit of privacy to the road. In the end, we will end up changing the gate, but as I said, that is further down the line. Lots of really exciting changes. I'm going to walk down a little bit further so you guys can see what's going on down here, because we've continued the road all the way up to the river. Oh, I'm so happy with the result. I know it sounds so basic, but it's actually made a huge difference to how we can use the space. So this has been a really big win, and next week that hedge is going in. So I will be keeping you guys updated on how that ends up looking. And you can see here, this is where we finished it. Just before the river here. A lot of you guys were saying to me last time, Matt, that's hardly a river. You cannot call that a river. I don't make the rules, guys. This is what it's called. It's a registered river here in the Netherlands, and it connects to actually a much bigger water system. We are actually in conversation with the water board about trying to make this river bigger, because right now it's about, let's say, 1.5 meters, 2 meters wide. So we're having conversations about widening it a couple of meters. Also, for ecological reasons, it's something that the water board is really trying to think about, and it's a project they have for the next couple of years to try and improve the qualities of these rivers. So once we saw that they had this project going on, we kind of reached out and said, you know, we have a really large portion of river that runs through our property. Maybe it's something that we can team up together on. And they were really happy about that. So we're now trying to think of a design that's going to work, because I want to try and do something here in front of the house where we have a little bit more water in sight, because the river you actually cannot see from the house. The house sits a little bit higher and the water level is not super high. It does get higher than this when it's really raining, but the level is quite low. So if we can bump the river out and have it more inside of the house, I think it would be beautiful on an early morning to see like that little mist that forms over the water and see the wildlife coming in. So that's something that's currently being worked on and discussed. But it, as always, especially when government bodies are involved, these things take a lot of time. But yeah, so now you're updated on the road. This road, still muddy. So there is a road under here. I showed you guys, this is the road going out to the horses. But over the time with farm vehicles and everything, it's just been churned up. So that's going to be something we're going to look to fix in the future. But we need it to be a little bit drier in order to tackle that. There is a part of this property, yes, and I haven't shown you guys yet, so we're going to be taking a look at that today. It is some extra fields that we have, and in order to go there, there is this very sweet kind of little meandering walkway next to the river, so we're just going to take that in a second. But the reason I want to go there is the field before that is where we have now received the permit for a second entrance. Now, you guys might be thinking, Matt, you just redid this whole giant entrance. Why do you need a second one? Now, the reason for that being is, even though we have really widened up the pathways here, when a large truck enters through here and comes straight down, there is no space to turn. With a large vehicle, especially for the ones that deliver straw or hay or pick up the poo for the horses, they're really large. They have large trailers behind them. So what you want to try and do, if possible, is give the drivers a continuous straight road or one-way road to go on. So how it's going to happen at this property is big vehicles are going to come down through this road, do what they have to do up there with the horses, then continue straight through here over the river. They're going to be turning left down this way. They'll proceed straight, turn left again, and they will leave the property. That way they don't have to come back the same route they came in from. It also means that vehicles are further away from the bend, because our house is on a bend, which means it's also safer for us with the horse truck to do the exact same thing. Let's go down there and have a look. This is the little sweet pathway I was talking about. In the summer, you can see that there's a bit of grass here and there's other plants that are growing either side. So in the summer, this is a very sweet little meandering pathway that takes you through this side of the property. We've shown you guys the main bulk of the property before, which is all on that side and surrounded all by its own forest all the way through. You can see that. But further down here, there is a lot more property we own, which we haven't gotten a chance to show you yet. But today is the day. And this is the little very, very sweet pathway that takes you there. Yes, and I do this walkway a lot with the dogs. They really like coming down here, and there's also a cute little bridge down there as well. This is also the area we were working on that I showed you guys in the last video, where these willows, I think it's called willow knots, but where they got cleaned up. And also, proof that this is a river, I don't know if you can see, but there is a current that's actually going through it. And you might see that the color of the river is a little bit like, there seems to be almost like a little bit of an oil film on top of here. And it's quite orange, and that's because we live in an area that's very high in iron. And that's what's influencing the color through there. And I was also thinking, oh, it would be so fun if we can walk through it, but it's like, it's super muddy. So it's not really the kind of river where you can take a stroll through. This is a bridge that connects you over to the main part of the property. It's so sweet. We actually have one other bridge in that forest that does the same. I'll take you on it so you can have a look. There is this mesh, so if it freezes or if it's a bit mossy, you don't slip. But you can see this is the river, which continues down this way, and then goes all the way through our property, all the way to the border of the property, all the way on the other side, passing through the front of the house. And this is the land. But just to my right here is this field, which we haven't really shown you guys before, but this is where the second entrance is going to be coming. It's been really important for us throughout this whole process to be as transparent as possible with all of our neighbors, because we appreciate the fact that it's in front of their house, whatever is happening. So out of being neighborly and good people, we've communicated everything to them, and we've tried to make all of our designs to be the least invasive as possible. So we've already talked to our neighbors here, and what we've decided is that we're going to be matching our entranceway to their driveway, which means it's going to be offset from anybody's house. I don't want to really show too much of their houses, but you can kind of see between my fingers is where the driveway is going to go, which means that there's going to be a nice line through here, right through the middle, that takes you out. You can kind of see the gap here through the middle. So we're going to be opening up this hedge by 15 meters. And then there's going to be a road that just comes straight out here through the middle. It's going to go over the river and then to the right. And then that road will connect to that other driveway we were just on. And between it is a whole forest. We did think about, oh, it would be really pretty to go through the forest. But to be honest, not the most practical thing in the world. So I think this is going to be the easiest way. This field that I'm standing in right now is actually really, it's quite large. It is one of the fields on our property that stays a little bit more wet. So you guys know I'm daydreaming the whole time about this place. So I do have a plan for this, which Jesse liked as well. And we're going to be just replanting this whole field as kind of like a native flower meadow, a Dutch native flower meadow. That way it can kind of bring some life back into the property for the wildlife, for the birds, for the bees, for the butterflies. And I think it's also going to be really pretty when you drive in or out of this entrance, that you're just going to be surrounded by like meadowy flowers. That's going to be the idea. We did something like this in the past at our old house in a very, very small way, that we created this like small flower meadow with like this little meandering path through it, and it actually looked amazing, and we enjoyed it so much, and it brought so many bees and butterflies and wildlife. So it's something we're going to try and do again here clearly on a much bigger scale. I'm like itching to just like start this project, so we're going to have to see. I mean, we do have to still build this entrance and everything, so I don't want to have to like mow over all the flower meadows to do that. So we're going to have to see when it happens, but I would like to tackle this project sooner rather than later. That way we also give the flower meadow a few seasons to really establish and start to grow properly in a way that it can self-seed itself every year. So this is something I've just noticed we have to tackle because we have this huge branch. I did see something of this before, but now that I'm a little bit closer, this is something that we're going to have to get our contractor to look into, because this is not going to be fixing itself. This is what I was talking to you guys on the last video also about, like the forest maintenance. There is so many more things you have to consider when you have this much forest here. I did mention at the start that there is a part of this property we haven't shown you guys. It's actually considerably a large part of the property. It's as big as our whole previous property. So it's about 1.5 hectares. It's just beyond this little tree line, and our property actually continues on into this whole field, and the whole field behind that as well. There is a road separating it, which gives access to the neighbors to access their property. But we have these two very large fields. One easy way actually to understand where our boundary is we have this huge hedge around this whole side of our property. So you can see that it keeps going all the way down there. And so up until where those three trees are, it's all our property this whole way. We don't really have like a huge set plan for these fields because they're out of the line of sight of our home, which means if you have horses here, you don't really get to like really keep a tab or an eye on them. So I think for this year, we're going to be renting the space to a local farmer here because we don't necessarily have like an immediate use for it, and it would really help him out. So that's so far what we have discussed as a possible plan. But in the future, it could just be that it's an empty space that we leave to harvest our own hay. It could be that we do some more plantings here of other things. I'm not sure. This place is something that we have not given much thought to yet. We're really trying to focus first on the big one piece of land that's in front of us, and then these extra bits is something that we're going to have to get to. It's kind of the fun thing about this place is that it's so big that you have so many opportunities down the line to do more. You don't have to do everything straight away. I mean, certainly it's not even possible for us. We have to go one bit at a time. And I want to show you also the continuation of the river, because the river continues through into these two fields as well. It coming from that side, which is the main part of our property, and it just goes through here and keeps going all the way through to the other field as well. Actually quite a nice feeling coming to this side of the property, because it feels like you have like a whole new place, because the view changes completely, and the neighbors here are actually super nice, and they have 2 horses, which is nice as well. It's actually the first time I'm stepping onto this land, and it's relatively dry. We had a very, very wet winter last year, which meant that there was a lot of groundwater that kept everything quite wet throughout the whole of the summer of last year as well. But now it's actually not terrible. It's not too bad at all. Yeah, but now I hope you guys have a little bit of a better understanding also of like the property. This will be really exciting, getting that second entrance through. Again, I'm not exactly sure on the timeline. That's also not like a top priority. And we are going to have to wait for better weather in order to be able to do the roads. But it's something that we have the permit for, which is exciting. It was actually the first permit we ever received. And the second permit was for the outdoor arena. So that's all the permits have gone through for that, and it went really well. Right, but I think I've faffed on for long enough. So I'm walking back through this cute little walkway, and then now we're going to be going to Valera, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an update on how he's going and how he's progressing, because I've been really, really happy with him, and he's been making big strides in his training as well, and I've been getting to know him a lot better. And I just can't wait. Like, the moment we're going to be able to bring all of our horses here, it's going to be unreal. It does feel, because I know how much work is ahead of all this, it does feel, I won't lie, like a long way away. But maybe it will surprise us, you know? Maybe once the fencing's in, the outdoors in, and they start to work on the barn, we're going to think, wow, things are really moving, and it's all going to happen relatively quickly. You'd be surprised at how quick some of this stuff goes in. Like the fencing, I think will take 3 to 4 weeks. The outdoor will take like a week and a half to make. So actually, they don't take a terribly long amount of time to do these kind of jobs. It's just getting the permits, paying for it, and waiting for the right weather. Those are the 3 difficulties that are involved in this project for us. Right, I'm gonna get in the car and I'm gonna touch base with you guys when I'm at the stables. It's definitely not gotten warmer, that's for sure. Good morning. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Someone's still in bed. Oh, someone's having breakfast in bed. Hey, big guy. big guy. Oh, 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 there we go. You look a bit like a mess. Look at you. You're gonna need a good brush and a good... We're gonna have to redo that mane as well. Wow. Okay. Well, good morning to you then. Good morning to you then. Then we've got Mr. 𝒋𝒐𝒍𝒍𝒐𝒘 here. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. How are you? Good morning. Then actually Macho has... Oh, there in the corner. He's like, this stable is so big for him, but Macho's actually moved to this stable. And then Therese has moved to this one because, I don't know, he was not really settled in here, so we tried to swap stables, put him next to Emporio, and he actually seems much better. Hi, it's the king. It's the king. Hello. Emporio's been clipped. He looks so smart now and so fresh. Plan of attack. I'm going to take Valero out so I can show you guys a little bit what he's looking like. We're going to have to tidy him up and neaten him up. This is something that I always do every day before I work with him and before we train. So I'm going to just get him out. I think we're going to redo his hair, give him a nice thorough brush through first. Then I'm going to show you guys around. I want to show you his feet as well. Goodness, so tired. I want to show you his feet as well because he's been having his first like 8 weeks or 7 weeks barefoot now. So I want to show you how that's going, how his body condition is going, and I want to show you also the next phase of our training. Oh my gosh. The next phase of our training, because we've started to put on the girth and the lunging system. One thing actually, I really have to get the dentist out because look at these teeth. We have a bit of a Frankenstein mouth going on at the moment. Have a look. Oh, hold on. Let me show him. Good boy. Okay, we are somewhat clean. I am filthy now. But I wanted to show you guys his feet because I feel like that's been one thing that's really starting to come into its own. The whole reason I wanted to take the shoes off to begin with on him was that I think firstly he was too young, and secondly the feet still need to grow a little bit, and I think with the shoes off we'll be able to get them a little bit wider and bigger, especially because he is such a big horse. If we look at his feet, they are not really cracking. I was a little bit scared that maybe along with the holes were for the shoes, they were going to start to crack, but the quality of the feet is actually quite good, and it's the exact same with the hind. So they've had like their second trim now and shape up, and they are looking pretty good. Also, just thinking about his weight and how his body condition is looking, it looks so much better. He has lost a bit of weight, and you can see that there used to be these really big fat pockets through here, and they are slowly going, and we are slowly changing the fat for muscle. So overall, I'm really happy. The neck is also looking much better. It's sitting much straighter. This is going to be something though that needs time. It's going to be really when I start to work in more of a frame, more engaged over the back. That's really going to start to support the neck on both sides to stay strong. But already it's much more up and straight, just having lost the weight. Also, I decided to do this Emporio hairstyle. I don't know if you guys will remember, but this is the hairstyle I used to always do with Emporio. I'm still a little bit in two minds whether I want to grow this mane out or not. So we are going to see how that goes. But for now, I'm growing it. That's the idea. Then we will see what it looks like with him. He does have quite a thick mane here at the front. Here, it's been rubbed. Either he rubbed it or the rug did before I bought him. But it is coming back in stronger. The tail is also growing a lot. I feel like this is always a sign that they're growing up when you start to get a longer tail. So bit by bit, it's coming. What I've been doing now is this kind of like lunging routine and exercise routine is I'm only doing like 15 minutes on the lunge, walk, trot, canter. But what I've been starting to do now is get him used to having a girth and a lunging system on. That way he can start to play around with that feeling a little bit. And I started by first putting it on in the like lunging area. And now that he's more accustomed and used to it, I just pop it on here when I tack him up. Typically I put it on and then I brush him. Today I couldn't do that because I wanted to give him a bit of a wipe down with the sponge. But I'm just gonna pop the lunging system on now and we're gonna head out and give him a bit of a lunge. There might be a small rodeo because he had the day off yesterday. And it's a little bit fresh outside, and he is the kind of horse that likes to have a bit of a play at the beginning of the lunging session, but he settles down really nicely. Here we are, lunging system. I always make it a little bit of like I use it to like scratch him always first, so we keep having like a very positive experience with it. So I just put it on and then I just scratch him a little bit with it, let it make some noise, let him be just comfortable and happy with it, and also just scratch him so like it goes on him and he feels like, oh, this is pleasant. It's not just like that it goes on him and then crank, it gets done up. I'm also not doing it like super tight, tight enough that it's not really moving, but there is a little bit of bounce to it. And I think that's quite nice because then he gets used to different movements and sounds and pressures rather than it just being on him and then next one day it moves or something, then it's a drama. Good boy. So then I just do it up so it's quite loose. Good boy. Clever. There is some slack and give, but it's not going to be moving far back where he's going to be like starting to buck at it. Because I don't want that either. So this is a nice mixture. There may, as I said, there may be a very slight excitable period in the start of the lunging session, but he's just turned 3 and 3-year-olds want to play. So it's one of those things where I try not to fight it too much because like if I just insist on him walking and he just wants to go and he has all this energy and he's playful, it's just a battle I don't think I'm going to win right now. So typically what I do actually is he goes in the walker first for like half an hour. So then we get that green energy out and then he comes and then I give him a lunge. But today I'm a little bit earlier to the stable, so he hasn't quite gone out yet. Now I'm not too bothered about exactly which direction he goes in first. I do try and just keep him in the walk in the beginning. Good boy, very good boy. What are you looking at? Good boy, very good. So typically we are able to just go for a nice walk first. I walk him for like 5 minutes. So I'm just gonna give him that time now to settle down, have a look at everything. Good boy. A little bit excited. That's fine, I'll move him on now. As long as we stay in this controlled, relaxed trot, then it's fine. Oh. Excuse me. Oh, oh. Sometimes it's just that they want to get like the bucking also frees the back a little bit. So it's not a bad thing, you know? He's not doing anything bad. So I just wait it out, stay calm. Good boy, let him get some energy out. And then typically he comes back really nicely after having had a very little play. And it's okay, I want him to be playful and I want this to be like something fun and enjoyable. If he was bolting and running completely out of control, scared or something, that would be a different story. Good boy, but I just kind of let him find his own rhythm in the lunging. Good boy. Ideally, in the perfect world, we would have a nice long walk, a nice long trot, a little canter, but he's just learning it all. So it's just gonna be a bit of a process. And especially when we come out here, which is a great exercise, coming in the outdoor without any fences and anything to give him more stability. He has to find his own balance. He actually does really great in that already, in keeping the circle. I mean, we have to remember he's just 3. I've only had him for 2 months. So I'm really, really happy with how he's going. And especially because when I first bought him, the lunging was a little bit out of control. And now it's going much better. And he's making so many more efforts to stretch down with the neck as well, showing a lot more balance. So I'm happy. Good boy. You're fine. We're going to see in a second. The trot's been really nice. So we're going to see if we can ask for a bit of a canter. Canter. He's actually been really great with the vocal cues. Good boy. What a clever boy. You're so smart, aren't you? Good boy. Very good boy. Yeah. It's all very exciting. Good. But this is a nice canter. He's showing nice rhythm. He's keeping the balance. So that's kind of all I want. And he can fall out a little bit. That's fine. Canter. Canter. Good boy. Yes, it's very exciting. Good. Very good boy. Oh. Oh, very good. So you can see even though he's a little bit distracted and he's a bit young and playful and everything, he's listening quite well to my forward commands, to my backward commands. Oh, very good. Oh, you are a very clever boy, aren't you? Yes. Very good boy. Very good boy. I try and stay pretty consistent with how much time I do on one side and the other. Good boy. Very good. Little walk on this side. Let him just look at everything from this side. It's so funny because with a horse like him, you need to have 2 sets of eyes. One set of eyes is the eyes of a young horse, and the other set of eyes is the eyes of a stallion. And I think that's always what I enjoy about having my horses as stallions, is that it adds like a different element to horse keeping. And I find the personalities are something that I really like, that they have a little bit of character and they have this different energy and this different eye on life. That's something that I really enjoy. Some people are gelding people, some people are mare people, and some people are stallion people. I mean, I don't mind mares or geldings, but I do connect with the stallions a lot more. And typically, I keep them as stallions because of breeding purposes. So Emporio is now a breeding stallion and he has foals coming. 𝒋𝒐𝒍𝒍𝒐𝒘 has absolutely no idea he is a stallion, so there's not really any sense in gelding him. And I'm actually pretty inclined in thinking maybe we could even put him with a gelding in the field because he's so quiet. And I actually have some friends that keep stallions together. 2 stallions together, quite risky. But maybe 1 gelding and 1 stallion, because 𝒋𝒐𝒍𝒍𝒐 is so chilled, it could work. With Valero, my idea is to keep him entire. If his temperament stays good, and if he develops nicely and he's going to be a quality horse for breeding purposes, then I will keep him entire, and otherwise I will geld him. I'm certainly not the person that just likes to collect stallions to say I own stallions. That's not why I do it. Little trot. Little trot. Very good boy. That was a nice balanced transition. Good boy. Aren't you just a clever, clever boy? Well done. Good boy. And also in his paces, of course. Also in his paces, I'm starting to see that he's becoming a lot more like floaty. So he's finding more length of rein in his steps. He's always had that. He's not like the typical PRE who's very up and down. He's much more like floaty and in front. And one thing that we haven't maybe seen it so much yet on the lunge, but one thing that's really improved is the quality of the walk. He has like a good foot in front of the hoof print of the hind, sometimes even 2, and it's getting very rhythmical and balanced. Canter, little canter, little canter. Good boy. Good boy. Come on, big baby. Very good. Very nice canter. And really, at this point, what the lunging that I'm trying to do is starting for him to understand vocal cues. So, canter. So like my clicking meaning forwards. That way when we start to back him, he knows what that means already a little bit, and that will help. And also, hoo, hoo. That meaning slow down. Again, that will help when we are backing him. So he already has some tools and things that he knows. So that's really my purposes of lunging right now. Getting to know each other as well. Him knowing me knowing him. Making sure that we have a better connection. Again, for that backing process. This is going to be the first horse that I back myself. I've ridden quite a few young horses, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds. I've owned 3-year-olds, of course. I bought Emporio when he was 3. But I've never backed a horse, so that's something that Yes is going to be helping me with a lot. He's actually broken in, well, we don't like that word. He's backed a lot of horses throughout his life, for clients, for himself. So I'll definitely be going to him for help and knowledge on this, and maybe he'll do the first time. Canta. I have helped Jesse. I have helped Jesse with the backing process of some horses. Canta. And some of my friends as well. So I have seen the process and I am somewhat familiar, but it's always good to have help with these more delicate processes. Good boy. Very good boy. I'm not a person that works so much with treats. I give treats like as a reward just for like positive behavior, but I don't do that so much in my training because I find stallions are quite mouthy and quite bitey to begin with. So if you then already start to encourage them to bring their mouth to you and look to bite, essentially to eat, I don't think that's very conducive to them. So with my stallions, I don't like doing that. With geldings and stuff, it's not such a problem. Good boy. But you can see he's already so fidgety and mouthy. So also when I try and avoid this happening. But if I also have to go up to him to reward, I don't reward in the head. I always reward in the neck. Because again, I don't want to create my focal point on the mouth when he's already interested in being mouthy. Now they're extra mouthy because of the teeth and everything. And then some exercises that I do with him is just learning to react on pressure, even without me having to use the pressure. And I can create that just by using the whip as a tool to create energy either in front or behind. Then it means that he's just a little bit more aware of my body and what I'm doing. And then eventually I don't have to use the whip anymore. He can just listen to me. But I think with young horses especially, it's really important that they're always, they can be very outward and focusing on stuff outside of their current environment like this. But it's quite important that they keep focused on me still. Otherwise they can be really surprised when I ask them something. Good. Good. Good boy, clever. And it's a little bit of like puzzle solving for their heads as well. Okay, well that's a little bit of an update on how he's going. I'm gonna take him back. This is pretty much all I do. I do like 5-10 minutes each side, playing a little bit, stopping, doing some of this work. That's it for now. We're gonna go back to the stable. I always typically give him a wash if the weather's fine because it's nice training for him to, he's still not super 100% comfortable with the water. So I make it part of my routine every day. That way I get to keep exposing him to being washed and he's getting so much better. But I want to still get him a little bit more comfortable. So we're gonna go do that.